from steam-driven cars to petrol-driven cars, and now driverless cars, from metal trading to banking system, and now digital wallet. And for your company, from traditional healthcare system to blockchain-enabled healthcare system, and now what's next for the company? Dear administrative of Zurich Pharma, as consumer, I truly appreciate your effort of bridging the gap in healthcare standards. As consultant, I completely understand your concern regarding the company's next phase of growth. But don't worry, we're here today to recommend 3 main strategies to bring the company to the next level of revolution. I now introduce my team, Phương Anh, Minh Châu, and Vĩnh Lộc, and myself, Anh. We proudly represent RMIT University of Vietnam, and we now begin our presentation.
But before jumping to further analysis, let me now walk you through the portrait of Zurich Pharma. With a vision to make healthcare more accessible, you provide 4 types of medical services, but majoring in pharma distributor, delivering over 16,000 medicine from 20 global manufacturers. You are leading the Southeast Asia pharma market. All achievements are enabled by your unique selling point in optimized supply chain and integrated platform, which have larger user base of businesses and end consumer. Very good performance today, but how to be better tomorrow? Your company already have an answer in mind to tap in more industry gaps as your new USP, including the counterfeit. This is solved by your blockchain-enabled Easy Tracker, which increase end-to-end traceability. However, it's just the very first step of creating differentiation. As what Easy Tracker can solve now is traceability issue, which can easily be copied by other player or even the startup. Plus, the future ambition of Zurich Pharma is moving to a Easy Tracker Plus, leveraging the consortium blockchain run on Hyperledger Fabric. This enables not only seamless operation, but to gain the ultimate power of blockchain, creating an ecosystem, the strongest weapon ever to retain customer loyalty and cannot be easily replaced by newcomers. Therefore, the company come to us to ask for the question of how to convert a critical mass, which means different types of stakeholders to create such a powerful ecosystem enabled by blockchain. Before giving you any direct answer, let's look at the biggest challenge facing your company in building ecosystem, not tech, but about how to incentivize 3 different potential stakeholders to participate in this network. First, stakeholder inside your pharma supply chain, including manufacturer, freight forwarder, and retail pharmacy, your B2B customer. So what is the pain to be solved by our consortium? Firstly, there's a lack of real-time data sharing across manufacturers and forwarder, which disable them from timely adjustment of temperature in storing such a sensitive products like medicine. And it takes so much time for product recall by tracing back to all batch to spot only one problem. On the other hand, real-time data is also necessary to control inventory level to avoid a shortage or waste of outdated medicine for the retail. Therefore, question of how to incentivize become more specific to how can your company provide these pharma stakeholders with customized and real-time data to support their operation. Moving on to another type of stakeholder, cross-industry. Outside of pharma supply chain, your company are capturing 90% of medical service in C, which means not much room for growth if forever sticking into the sector. However, there's an adoption of blockchain to connect cross-industry, a chance for your company to convert more stakeholders and add more value for both your customer and end consumer. So what are the sectors to create a win-win relationship with you? First, financial player, as transactions for medicine are moving from cash to digital payment. And second, insurer, as there's still people buying pharma without covered by insurance. Therefore, your company's end consumer base, the medicine buyer, can also be a source of growth for financial and insurance player as well, which is a potential conversion point. Last but not least, the abroad dream to convert all Asian medical market like hospital and regulators with a growth and high consumption in medicine in Asia Pacific. It's a fertile land for you to convert, further pursuing the vision to make healthcare more accessible. So how to give these foreign stakeholders a what's in it for me incentive? acknowledging the insufficient and underdeveloped medical knowledge, practice, and facilities in some Asian regions. The company's strength of experts and data to transform knowledge can solve the pain point of these regions. Zooming into problem, also a way forward. There are different incentives to convert critical mass. The customized real-time data for Pragma stakeholder, the share of end consumer base to financial and insurance player to create a win-win monetary benefit and add more value to user. And last, the shortage of medical knowledge among foreign countries is some pain for an expert like Zelig to tap in. The way is there, but how to really move forward? Introducing you to our 3 strategy. First, enable the data sharing for better operation in Pragma supply chain. Second, enlarge the impact to other industry outside Pragma. And third, expand to cross-border, or to achieve one purpose of building a critical mass to strengthen your ecosystem as the most powerful thing that blockchain enable us, keeping your company far away from new entrants and the competitors. All details are presented by my colleague right now.
Thanks, Yo, for such a detailed analysis. Now let's come to the first strategy of enable to see how your company could address different needs of your supply chain stakeholders to effectively incentivize them to join your blockchain systems. So as analyzed before, there are 2 main stakeholders that we will tackle within this strategy: the pharmaceutical supply, including medicine manufacturers and the freight forwarder, and also the pharmaceutical distribution, including hospital and retail pharmacies. And for the first one, normally they're in charge of product management throughout the first stage of your supply chain. Hence, these stakeholders will normally bear the cost of product defective risk. And this is even amplified by the perishability of pharmacy products, especially in temperature, posing an emerging need for them to accurately track and trace relevant responsibility in their and your company supply chain. Besides, for the second stakeholders here, because the demand and the supply in pharmacy industry is not stable, they fluctuate significantly, leading to situations where demand exceeds supply, posing a threat of more deaths and low operational resilience, and also oversupply situations, posing direct financial damages to those institutions. Henceforth, there is thinking and ongoing demand for these stakeholders for greater and real-time end-to-end solutions for their inventory management strategies. So now let's reflect on your previous implementations. EasyVet. We are seeing that it can ensure the traceability and authenticity of products by serializing all goods with specific stickers. However, there's still gaps where blockchain itself cannot solve it, especially real-time tracking and product status visibility, driven by key pain points of our stakeholders as mentioned before. So these will be the potential spaces for your company to create more and even more value for those stakeholders to really engage into your system. Hence, after considering your company advantage in data cumulative and analytics, and also several markets case studies such as Chronicle with MediLedger in the US or Block Pharma platform in France. Ladies and gentlemen, our team proudly introduced to your company the IoT-enabled blockchain. So how it's gonna work? So basically, we will enact this initiative in your supply chain from the first point where the products reach our local distribution centers, for the second point where they have been delivered to the hospital and retail pharmacies. Originally, the blockchain provides credible environments for hospital and manufacturers, as well as freight forwarders to share open data, and the applications of IoT technologies facilitate the control of medicine inventory and real-time location through embedded sensors. And these 2 technologies can be combined together to establish a credible, transparent, and traceable real-time data sharing and business collaboration system for the pharmacy supply chain. And with the endorsement of the blockchain technologies, these encrypted data can only be used by the relevant participants and cannot be taken away from the blockchain. And through such an initiative, we are seeing here a great incentive for the parties to really buy in your solutions. First, for manufacturer and freight forwarders, they can now easily trace back the responsibility, or even if the actions happen in your company distributions, they can also base on the reports from the IoT and the immutable records from the blockchain to get the correct answers for who will be in charge for the compensations or detect the specific defective, thanks for the sensor records from the IoT to reduce the cost of massive recalls. Besides, we also see that several countries have taken steps to force the accurate tracking about the product status. Hence, only if they join the system with us, they can go with us, be our partner with several financial benefits to expand to other countries in the future. And for the hospital and retail pharmacies, now they can see the progress of this product delivery, henceforth being able to adjust their demand supply strategy and to make it more resilient and mitigate the shortages. For example, if the system report the products cannot be delivered on time, then we will support them by connecting them with our hospital, with other hospital and retailers in our large distribution database for the strategic transshipment. So now I have walked you through the first strategies of IoT-enabled supply chain. Blockchain, which will not only help your company to enhance the operational efficiency, but also effectively incentivize the key SC stakeholders to join your network, posing a long-term sustainability. Now I will pass it up for the second strategy.
Thank you, Anh, so much for enabling me to implement our team's second strategy at large, where our objective is to enhance the collaboration with untapped opportunities outside of the healthcare industry. And as my colleague Zhao has mentioned, the financial sector and the insurance sector are two potential first moves for your company to expand into. Now, to collaborate with each sector, we must understand their pain points and what they need in the collaboration with your company. For the financial players, we see two main issues that your company can help. First, the chargeback transactions in healthcare system, 3% of all transactions compared to the healthy rate of 1%. Most of these claims are fraudulent claims or unreceived canceled orders of medicines and services. Therefore, we see the need to verify information from the financial players to avoid the loss of up to 40% revenue for vendors if they don't fight back the chargebacks. Moreover, we see that 10% of counterfeit products is still in circulation. Therefore, arises the need to assure quality prepayment. And that's why we propose to your company a Zurich-enabled automatic payment system that serves the need of verifying the information along with sufficient quality assurance. Through the process of manufacturing to distributing and to your end customer, the smart contracts allow the automatic quality check. Zurich and other stakeholders can have a predefined condition of quality or quantity inside those smart contracts so that the quality is assured before proceeding to the automatic payments, leveraging the digital payment platforms. After that, if our end customer has complaints or files for a chargeback, the immutable ledger that your blockchain offers allows the retracing of the goods, saving cost and time for both your company and the financial player. Now, let's move on to the insurance sector. We have generalized the claim processing of the insurers into 5 stages. The document review of claims done by the insurers themselves. The next 3 steps is where your company comes in. The service and diagnostics of service, overseeing whether the needs of the patients have been given accurately. The coverage identification to see whether the insurance covers the services. And lastly, the fraud detection to see whether the patient have missed out on their medications, leading to more severe problems. After all these steps, can the patient receive the insurance payment? Seeing how the insurer needs so much data coming from the healthcare services, such as yours, we see the need for the collaboration to provide medical adherence to the patients. So we proudly introduce the Health Insurance Care Plus program, where your customer, Yao here, will buy the medicine at your company. After that, if their condition gets worse, they can file an insurance claim. Now the InsurTech will collaborate with your company for information sharing to verify the claim quicker. Now there is some problem with the regulations as well. So we use the case study of AXA Insurance Group in Hong Kong, where they use the same information sharing system for the same purposes. So the synergy will be a win-win-win situation between the customer, Zurich and partners, and InsurTech in providing the comprehensive care for all of the parties alike. And now to recap on our enlarged solution, we aim to provide an automatic payment system by collaborating with the financial sector to track down the operating costs benefited from the automation of processes. For insurance, we aim to provide comprehensive and extended care through the Health Insurance Care Plus platform, both of which to ensure the effective future development of your company. Now I'll leave the rest of our solutions to my colleague, Phương Anh.
Thanks for a very detailed strategy. And now let's come to the final strategy of expand to see how your company can integrate cross-border stakeholders to adopt your blockchain by supporting their lack of medical expertise. As your company is considering expanding to Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, South Korea, and Hong Kong, we believe that all these markets are adaptable in terms of having enormous patience of yours, as well as to having quite high smartphone penetration. However, for the first three markets, having the most of your patients, but still lack of a qualified enough healthcare system compared to the two later market. Thus, we expect to tap in all these markets to create a hub to share efficient medical knowledge. Let me introduce to you the localized medical hub, of which together all of healthcare practitioners from the developed and developing market mentions, including doctors and medical students. This is taking the reference from the case study of med sector in Vietnam to share knowledge among practitioners. Those who access to our hub and share the peer-to-peer knowledge upon medical innovations and drug discoveries cross-border, as well as to obtain medical education such as webinars and workshops to learn from each other efficiently. But how could it link to your company blockchain purpose? As illustrated here, the hospitals and clinics need to adopt your Easy Tracker blockchain to have their doctors access to the hub. And the same for governments to help us to access to that country's data to have their students access to the hub also. Thus, the synergies to be realized here is first for your company to expand the blockchain adoption cross-borderly, and for those countries to realize an efficient medical knowledge via your exchange hub. So to recap on our strategy, we aim to provide a localized medical hub to expand your company blockchain technology adoption cross-borderly, as well as to enhance the network with students and doctors, thus to expand the whole ecosystem to strengthen the company. And now to make all of these initiatives come true, let me pass to Ang for the master plan.
Thank you for the strategies. Now introducing our master plan. First, with action timeline, the first two strategies should be carefully started with the R&D strategy from your company to know whether there is existing infrastructure to leverage or should we building a new one. And also look for the market demand. Then together with launching these initiatives, careful evaluation together with continuous improvement need to be implemented. And for the last strategy, after building hub features, we may try to negotiate with the government and the hospital for mutual stands, and then target to launch in above identified regions. And every great strategies should come with some unforeseeable scenarios, of which the first risk should be realized here is from the interoperability issues hindering the data sharing, which will be curbed by our comprehensive protocols and building the cross-chain bridges and standardized API. Next, for the second strategies, has a barrier of the regulatory compliance, which will be curbed by hiring a legal consultancies for strategic planning. And the last strategies will have a risk of data security, which will be curbed by limiting access control and conducting regular security audits. And now, Phương Anh will walk you through some financial outcomes.
We believe that the new revenue generated should outpace the old one to reach a 8.5% CAGR up to 2027, to break down into 63% contributed by the distribution service, and added a new stream of commission from insurance. And the major cost would be upon 40% for procurement and 40% for distribution also. Thus, the profit will be added from 2024 when our strategies show effect, is that having the engine from both revenue increase and cost decrease, of which the revenue increase is from the decrease in product recall, counterfeit, and added a new revenue stream. The cost to be released is upon our effort to reduce the distribution cost and admin cost. And to further observe whether our solution viable for your company, the upfront capital is considered here upon IoT, R&D, hub feature infrastructure for cross-border expansion, training and support to be totaling around $500 million, with the rates of return to reach about 90% throughout 4 years and pay back after 1 year and 3 months. This is significant as to the blockchain your company has adopted before, just to realize benefit upon distributing the technology wider. Therefore, some key outcomes to be reached is to have revenue increase at a pace of 8.5% per year and profit to be added at around $1 billion average for 5 years. In overall, we believe that your company has established such an advanced blockchain system to disrupt the whole industry. However, the presence of our 3 strategies will take your technology to the next level, not only in chasing the company's sustainable growth and operational efficiency, but also to adopt large and sustainable critical mass throughout the industry. Thank you for listening, and we are now open for the Q&A session.
Okay, thank you, team from RMIT, for your presentation. Can I ask Stephen to put the time at 50 minutes? Fantastic. Judges, please start asking your questions.
So can you use one sentence to describe what exactly is the problem you're solving?
So the one sentence to describe the whole problem that we are solving is how we incentivize different stakeholders to join our ecosystem enabled by blockchain. Thank you so much for your questions.
And what exactly is the business model we're presenting here? I mean, because you are presenting that you would have cost saving and additional revenue stream. So how should I reconcile that with the problem you're solving?
Thank you for
Because
your
it seems to me it's like a cost saving then versus you are saying that is the problem statement is incentivized. So how do I bridge between that?
Thank you for your questions, and I believe that my colleague Phương Anh can address the question regarding how our solution will resonate with our problem statement.
So actually, I will recap our three solutions. So the first one, we can bring a new revenue stream by collaborating with the insurtech and earn the commission. And moreover, for the financial service, if we can streamline and avoid the fraud between the payments process, we can decrease the cost of admin to up to 41% as we have researched before. And for the second strategy of Enlarge, as we can streamline the end-to-end supply chain visibility, we can expect to reduce the cost upon distribution also. And for the expand strategy, as we can incentivize the cross-border stakeholder to adopt the blockchain, we can also record some revenue increase from this. Yes, I hope that answers your question.
Mm-hmm. And if I am your stakeholder, let's say I'm your pharmacy stakeholders, I have multiple suppliers, and you know, not every supplier would have the same solution that you provide. What, apart from the incentive that you mentioned, what convinced me that I need to do to present to my board, I need to adopt to your solution?
Thank you for your questions. And I believe that your question is about how we can incentivize the retailer, the hospital and retail pharmacy.
No, I'm asking, without incentive, what exactly is the business benefit for me to genuinely convince my board to adapt your solution?
Okay, thank you for your question. And I believe that my colleague Anne can address this.
Okay, so thank you for your questions again. And I believe that as a retailers in the pharmacy supply chain, when looking into the Zurich solutions, we can see that, first of all, for the company scale, your company have the presence in many countries in Southeast Asia and also a strong network. So I want to stress here the word network. When you join our network, you can get a larger network. And especially in the very sensitive supply chain like pharmacies, where demand and supply fluctuated significantly, and that you cannot ensure every certainty in this aspect. So that if you join our network, not only we give you the visibility and real-time visibility and solutions for your supply chain, but also we give you a chance that you can leverage our network to mitigate some risk of the descriptions. For example, if you are like a inventories for some urgent cases or something, you can leverage our network to contact for some other retailers that currently available about the product, so that we can help your company to connect and conduct the transshipment strategy among them. Yeah. So the key selling point here about the network, we have a strong network.
Yeah, so I want to add on my colleague's answer a little bit. So currently for your blockchain, it has been tested and we have some successful in the testing geography Hong Kong. So we believe that in terms of the compatibility, it can replicate the model that has been tested in Hong Kong to go abroad for the cross-border geography. I hope that answers your concerns.
Yeah, got it. My last question would be,
Maybe we can switch to the other judges because we only have 15 minutes. Daniel?
Yeah, maybe I'll just jump in on what Brian was asking there. Did you, as a team, ever consider that this maybe should not be part of Zuellig Pharma? It should be independent?
Thank you for your question. And can I clarify your question a little bit? Is your question about why don't these stakeholders operate independently? And
no, it was more, did you ever consider that maybe the Easy Tracker solution shouldn't be tied to somebody like Zuellig Pharma? Maybe it should be independent and neutral to and allow further adoption?
thank you for your question. And I believe that my colleague can address this question.
Yes, thank you so much for your question again. Now, the value, the unique value of your company is that you are currently operating most of the operation in-house. And we see that because you have already built a blockchain system in-house, so we think that the feasibility for your company to expand into other regions, such as our solutions, can be feasible with your current resources. Now, if you need to scale up worldwide, then we might look at the option of outsourcing or going independent of this platform outside of Zuellig. But right now, for the scale that we're looking at, we think that your company can build everything in-house to make sure over the control and over what you want with the system.
Okay, thank you. Another question I had is, I think in the presentation you mentioned that several countries have mandated tracking. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is essential for countries or governments to enforce tracking for this to be a success?
Thank you for your question. We also consider that point when we in our discussion, and I believe that all the government and the state and all the stakeholders in the pharma market all care about the healthcare system of their own nation and how they build the medical knowledge to further support their the country. However, they face a bottleneck of underdeveloped medical expertise and knowledge infrastructure in the country compared to the global benchmark. So I believe that with the expertise and the reputation that you have built in this industry all over Asia, you can definitely convince the foreign stakeholders to join your network to further increase their medical expertise and practices to further contribute to the nation.
Yes, and I wanted to add on a little bit. So there is the involvement of the government here is that when we go abroad with such a product that is quite very sensitive to data, and the regulatory compliance risk is very obvious. So that we believe that if we can involve the government to have their consent, we can easily to have the cross-border stakeholders to jump into our system. Yes, I believe that answers your question.
Thank you. Maybe one, do I have time for one more question? Yeah. Okay, last one. It was just on the auto payment. The solution would be obviously triggered with smart contracts and the payment. How would you, traditionally customers have payment terms, so maybe 45, 60 days. How do you incentivize, or what were your thoughts about why somebody would pay immediately through the bank, or if not, who would be picking up the kind of the supply chain financing in that scenario?
Thank you for your question, and I want to clarify a little bit of your question. Is it about how we can incentivize the end consumer, which is the medicine buyer, to pay immediately to our partner of digital payment? Is that your question?
Yeah, correct. Well, really the customer. So the customer in this case is a pharmacy chain or clinic or hospital. How would we ask them to pay immediately through the smart contract rather than waiting for 45 or 60 days payment terms?
Yes, thank you so much for your question again. And we believe that I would like to clarify a bit of our automatic payment system is that we want to, because we see that 41 of your transaction administrative costs can be saved through because of automation in the transaction system. So we think that doing this you do not necessarily have to tap into the 45 to 60 days payment. It's just an automatication of that process. And I hope that answers your concerns.
Thank you. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I think like for me, my question is more around like you talk about the $500 million investment upfront. So what is your plan in order to raise the fund in order to support this project?
Yes, so thank you for your question. So we have considered the funding source when we come up with this number. So we believe that being a 15 billion company that your company can generate in 2022, your company can also have some retained earnings to fund this 500 million. And moreover, there would be some source as your company is being a private-owned company. So maybe some sorts like bank loans or venture capitalists can help your company to solve this. And if there is some scale level to be needed to be funded more, maybe your company can consider to go public through IPO to gain more fund. I believe so.
Okay, thank you. And when you calculate the part of the cost, I think that one of the thing that like for the blockchain is about like the energy usage, right, in the paper. So have you already considered the increase in the energy usage that might cost a lot in terms of like your total budget? Yeah, and how did you calculate like based on that?
Yes, so thank you for your question. So this is very interesting, and we believe that your company is currently pursuing a policy in reducing the energy usage from blockchain. I believe so when I read your reports from 2022. So we believe that if there is some increase in cost, it will not be as major as the cost that has been decreased from the administrative cost and the distribution cost that we can decrease from our strategy. I hope that answers your concern.
Okay, thank you.
Brian, you had additional questions, maybe?
Yeah, I want to ask, going back to the external or overall industrial landscape, why you guys think right now has no one doing something similar, and is the right timing for us to deliver that solution?
Thank you for your questions, and I believe there are two parts of your question. Firstly, is about the industry landscape. So, is there any leader or any player in this industry? And the second part would be why is us? Is that correct for your questions?
Yeah. Why now? Why matters?
Thank you for your questions again. So for the first part, I believe that because you are the leader in medical service provider in Southeast Asia, and there's no compatible for now to compete with your supply chain. So why we must use blockchain? Because there may be a lot of competitor or player in this industry. However, there are still some industry gap left. And so, as I have mentioned, for example, counterfeit and product call and the cold storage, and your company is the first one who solved the counterfeit, and there's still more of industry gap that you can solve. So why is it the right time? Because apart from the tech side to have a seamless operation, we believe that if you are not hurry in building an ecosystem, some new startup can step in and steal that from you, steal that tech from you, will imitate that tech from you. But however, when you are to get sooner to build an ecosystem, it's much more hard for the other startup, or the new entrant to replicate that, because building ecosystem take a lot of time, and it has to be done now to remain forever competitive in the industry. And I hope that answers your questions.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I muted myself. Sorry, there's no more time for additional questions with only 20 minutes left on the clock. Thank you, team from RMIT, for your presentation and for the Q&A.